Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to take a look at how I'm pulling apart the file itself. So we have transformed the pipe separated values into JSON, and now we're going to go back to the mapping table like we did in the Reddit series and start ripping it apart and find a home for it. So I hope you enjoy, and I will see you soon. Alrighty, so I have already talked about this file JSON transform procedure in the last video, and it kind of gave us some of this information that was in our cn.txt file that we also unzipped using SQL. And now it's basically trying to classify what's going on here, like what are we looking at and what does it mean? So using the same kind of concept of that we're using in the Reddit series, I created a new tenant, a while ago, to represent the FEC project. And then I added some new records into this mapping table under that tenant, except I figured out that we're modeling transactions. So in any given cycle, 2-year cycle, these files basically represent a collection of data that happened in that time frame. And say if we go back and we look at this data here, we can see that the candidate election year is not just 2002, even though we're looking for 2002. It's 2000, 96, it's all sorts of different things. So that led me to assume that what we are actually looking at are transactions. So that being said, what I basically did is I created a new domain called transaction. So it kind of looks like, people, group, word, the things that we've already, or post, things we've already done. And I linked the items inside of that file to its appropriate destination. So we have a couple of things like political affiliation and candidate ICI and candidate status. These are actually a finite set of values given to us by the government. So what we're going to wind up doing is in the future, when we start loading, we're going to classify data after we've loaded it. Unlike the Reddit series where we're classifying it as we're loading it, this is historical data. So let's import it with what we understand and then create the relationships later. And that will actually help explain this reference piece of information. So it'll make a lot more sense with why this exists and what this reference shared attribute actually does. So this is basically all I did for the mapping section, where we had our office going to the office district and state, and mailing, physical mailing, state line postal codes, and all this good stuff. And you notice that I do have two pieces of information that point to the identifier, or that point to the people identifier for candidate ID, and the people full name that we get from that data too. So this is the mapping that I did, which was purely data entry, getting ready for the actual loading of the data, which I'll go over in the next video. So pretty short and sweet, nothing really, nothing too fancy, just continuing the same pattern that we're using for every project, every series. So thank you very much for watching. Remember, like this video and YouTube will recommend it to users in our industry, and subscribe to support me. Thank you, and I will see you next time.